welcome to episode 4 of our Let's Grow with Parents and Carers series. So really excited that today, in today's episode, I'm joined by Sue from Boogie Mites. Hello, Sue.
Hello, and thank you so much for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. So, Sue, we know that a language-rich environment for our nursery children is really important. And one of the things that we deliver as part of our programmes within Grandee UK and our nurseries is our Boogie Mites programme, which you lead for us. And that's delivered across all of the nurseries, and we have our team that deliver that sort of day-to-day music and movement packages. Yeah. But just share with our audience today and our parents the importance of communication and how this, through music, really aids that.
I would love to, and I know time is short, so the huge area of benefits of music can be summarised, I think, if we talk about the benefit for the sound processing system and rhythmic awareness, and both of those impact the whole of the brain, and music is an area which will really develop cross-brain development through sound processing. It will affect how we think, how we feel, how we move, and how we combine our senses. And of course, all of those areas are important for communication.
Okay.
Because we're gesturing and we're moving when we're talking. It's not just, the language.
Of course.
And then rhythmic awareness is really important for listening, language and literacy.
Amazing. So what would that look like for a baby? So we talk about the importance of our team really constantly communicating with babies and why it's so important that babies are in an environment of rich communication. Why is that important?
So babies obviously have been in the womb for around about 9 months, okay. And in that time they're obviously exposed to the beating heart and the pumping of the blood and all the rhythms of the body. So studies have been done, and not surprising, babies are born with the ability to recognise the steady beat.
Wow.
They are also born with their music processing neural network in place. Sound is the only sense, the first sense that is fully developed, not fully developed, but myelinated sense that is working within the womb. So babies are listening to and responding to sounds within the womb, and their music processing network is in place. So that is something we want to really encourage when they are born. So when we speak with them using a sing-song voice, we know that that's a great way to really connect with babies and to use the gestures, and music and singing really helps with that connection and that bonding.
That makes perfect sense, because I'm sure our parents will recognise this, that some, definitely for our younger children, and when our practitioners are vocalising and communicating with them, they really will have a different pitch of voice, and it really does feel, as you mentioned earlier, that sort of sing-song tone, and there's a real reason for that, as you've shared.
It's almost like a natural response that people talk in a sing-song voice with babies, but that's through evolution. I mean, it's through evolution that the music processing network is formed within the womb, because music has been so important through evolution to humankind, and the way that music bonds the group and the tribe, and how important it is for connection. And so absolutely, that's a natural thing, but science always also explains why we would speak to babies in that sing-song voice and do as much rhyming and singing and musical interaction from birth, so that those babies don't lose those connections that they have at birth.
So share with us why, as you mentioned, singing and rhymes are so important for child development.
So the melodic awareness that we get through singing is very important for sound processing development. So I talked about how important sound processing is. Any sounds that come in through the ear stimulate development across the whole brain. So our emotional brain, so how we feel, our cognitive brain, so how we think, our how we combine our senses, and how also we move, so our motor region of the brain. So all of those are stimulated through sound. And what neuroscience has shown us is that when it comes to sound processing, music is the jackpot.
Okay.
It has like a privileged portal to our attention and to our memory. So it's grabbing attention, holding attention, and it is sticking in the memory, and it's impacting all of those areas across the brain. And so when we're singing, we're remembering, and we are having a feeling of joy, which is the emotional reaction, and we are moving, and we are using our eyes and our movements, so we're integrating our senses. So there's so much going on, and singing kind of brings all of that together.
Amazing. And it's also the first step in terms of children's literacy and reading.
Yeah.
And talk us through why that would be. So you mentioned about rhyming and songs and how sort of children have that first stage of development, but that's the first stage for literacy, and it's the first stage for reading.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
So I might talk about the magic triangle at this point. So
yes.
We've talked about the whole brain reaction and stimulation through sound processing. The magic triangle is actually a term that is used by Dr. Anita Collins, who we partner with, and as you know, she's produced some of the neuroscience modules that sit on the customer hub that are available for your team. And she talks about the magic triangle, which is the foundation of language and literacy, which is the neural network links between the auditory, the visual, and the motor regions of the brain.
Okay.
And if we can strengthen the sides of that triangle, we are giving children an amazing foundation for language and literacy. And within that, the rhythmic awareness is a really important part, and that's the link between auditory and motor. Because with a good, strong rhythmic awareness, we can predict children's language and reading ability, the studies that have been done around that. And it also can help children to hear speech in noise if they've got a good sense of rhythm. So, and phonological awareness is the other side of what we're developing through all of this rich, varied exposure to sound and music, pitch, so how high or low the sounds are, tempo, how fast, slow, dynamics, how loud, soft, timbre, which is sort of the quality of the sounds. So music is able to give children such a rich experience of sound through a really rich and varied range of music or genres and rhythms, and that is giving their sound processing the ability to hear the sounds in words in the order in which they occur throughout the word.
Absolutely.
So we are absolutely giving them the foundation for phonological awareness, which is the onset, the initial sound of words, and the rhyme. So for cat, it's the k and then the at. And it's also the syllabic awareness, so the syllables, with cat being one syllable word, but if it was elephant, it's the three syllables. And if it's also the phonemic awareness, so within a syllable, cat would have three phonemes, k, at. So all of those sounds, there's so much that the brain has to do to make sense of them.
Absolutely, and there's so much learning just through the songs and the rhymes and the rhythm, and all of those things are really the sort of foundation stage for children in terms of them being able to then put those steps together to support their understanding of listening for the sound and for reading. So it really is incredible, and I think obviously as professionals we understand the science behind play, and we understand why we do what we do. But I think there's such a rich educational piece around songs and rhymes and rhythm, and it's so important that in all of our nurseries we have a hugely language rich environment, because that's the stepping stone to all other learning for that child. So talk to us about some of the things that our parents could be doing at home, because again we recognise that songs and rhymes and rhythms and sometimes that's being lost generationally, and we want to make sure that that continues to be a really important part of child development and what parents are doing at home. So just share with our audience the sorts of things that parents could be doing at home to help the children.
So it's a big part of what Boogie Mites do, and it's actually sort of where we came from. We, the music we have developed, the music activities are absolutely for non-musicians, and we can get over that confidence thing. Unfortunately, there's a myth that you either have musical talent or you don't, which is not true, because as I've said, we're born with our music processing network in place, and it's just a case of practicing it. And so we've developed activities that are really easy to access. You don't need expensive instruments. We use jump percussion, that's all you need to harness all of the benefits.
Do you share with our families? Because you've got some
examples,
things, haven't you, that we...
So yeah, shakers, which are just pots or tubs with either rice or pasta or chickpeas or lentils or bits and pieces inside, and the children can listen to the different sounds. They'll enjoy making them and decorating them, as you do in the nurseries, I know.
Absolutely.
You know, just things like cups, yogurt cups that have been washed out, you know, that makes a good sound, and that can be a horse clopping. We have a horsey song, and that works really well. So you can have a steady beat. The steady beat is the foundation of rhythmic awareness. We work a lot with the steady beat, but then you might get onto the rhythmic extension to that. So you might have a clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, and so on.
So it's really building, isn't it? It's the real basic, and then building on that skill and expertise, and incredible.
And then we've cardboard tubes are a great
always prop. Available at home.
Two together can be tapped, or we make our sticks with doweling, which is just cut and sanded, varnished, painted. And we use a box for a drum. Oh, I can't show that. A box for a drum. Or SMA tins, or I think this was a coffee tin, which has a lovely sound for a drum and a different sound on the other side. Scarves for waving when we're dancing. Obviously the big motor skills we're using, we're crossing the midline. That's a very important developmental motor skill step, and we're connecting the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. And scarves are a great thing for, you know, the fine motor skills as well. You know, you can screw them up and throw them and dance with them. And scrunchy paper is a lovely thing to play with, and float and catch. And we have songs that use the junk percussion, such as Do Re Mi, the ecology, where you literally just get out all of the junk from the recycling bin. Children will have so much fun playing with it, and sort of making models, and as well as listening to the sounds and the feeling, that how they feel. And then you put the song on, and it's a lovely message about how we use our junk to make music, and there's a beautiful rhythm in there. There's a bit when they do use the paper, and a bit when they use the cardboard tubes. And you know, there's lovely words in there like ecology, because we don't dumb down the songs at all, so that children are getting a really rich experience of different vocabulary, and the meaning will be linked to the context of the song. So that's an easy way for them to start to add new vocabulary to their
repertoire of language.
Exactly.
Amazing. So a huge thank you, Sue. I think that I definitely, for myself and also for our parents, I think they would have gained so much from your information today. And I think just really being able to give all of that fundamental foundations as to why we do what we do. The other thing that we have available to families will be the links to all of the songs, the rhymes, the elements that we use every day in nursery life. So again, you can utilise those at home. Sue will also share the link to the webpage, which has lots and lots of family resources, parent resources that you can go away and utilise at home. But a huge thank you. It's been an amazing episode. It's been fabulous to really understand all of those foundations for communication and how we support children in their everyday experiences to get them ready for their sort of next stage in child development. So thank you so much for joining us, Sue. It's been amazing.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I love every opportunity to share my passion and the passion of my team for getting everybody enjoying, because the side we haven't talked about is the well-being side, and the joy and the fun of it, and the connection and the community that it builds. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. And we look forward to seeing all of you on our next episode. So thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Bye-bye.